Hello. I'm currently in the process of recording another video. One that's in a little bit of a different style compared to the usual ones. And it is 12:37, I think, at night. And, well, it's so chilly. 37 is a number that comes up a lot. There's a Veritasium video on it that if you ask people to pick a number between 1 and 100, 37 is the most picked one. Also, my friend, whose dad is really smart, told him, who told me, that if it's mathematically proven that if you are gonna pick an unknown, for example, say you're trying to choose a partner to live your life with, and because you don't know if someone better is gonna come along, what's the optimal way to search for a partner? And it is to get with, I think, spend your time with 37, go through 37 people, go through is the wrong word there, or spend time with 37 people, and then after the 37th, I think it's the next nicest that comes up, I think I fucked it. 1 over 137 is a very close approximation to the alpha constant, which is the fine tuning constant, which is represented by alpha. That sounded wrong, and so that's cool. 37. The world's largest penis is 37 centimeters long. How do I even get? Oh yeah, the time. 9:37. It's not that now. It's gonna be 9:39. It's not even 9. My brain is starting to melt a little bit, and that's okay. Because that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Today, I've done more work than I've done in ages. I've done more physical work than I've done in ages. And I feel great. Really good. A few days ago, I made a video about how I was just a bit overwhelmed and stuff. And none of that's gone away. I'm still in that situation, in arguably a worse position, given that I have less time now. But I feel great. The fact that ChatGPT told me, stuff like physical exercise regulates your stress system. I mean, I'm stubborn as anything, and for a long time as a kid, I kind of dismissed emotions because they're a bit illogical. That's the point. I thought you could build a world out of logic, and I guess that's kind of why I got very into maths and very maths focused. But then you kind of realize that I think I had it with when I had an overwhelming sort of emotional response. Well, not overwhelming, but such that I never had it. I hadn't had anything like it before when I was in my first relationship. And that, I think that's purely just a product of going to a boys' school, not speaking to a girl for fucking ages, and then just suddenly you're in a relationship and boom, hormones in it. That's pretty much just it. I've drunk that fancy because of my weird grip. But yeah, and then after that I was like, oh shit, not oh shit, but eureka moment. There you go. I was like, emotions are actually a part of stuff, and that's when I transitioned a lot from purely maths to physics, because I originally started out my A levels. I picked politics, economics, and maths because I wanted to study PPE at Oxford University. That is politics, philosophy, and economics. My brain is misfiring so much, so bear with me. And I looked at what I could do, and those were my best options. Wait, there was something else. I swear I did 4. Oh yeah, and further maths was one of my A levels. And I was like, okay, so I'll go in for this because from experience, I knew I was not good as the kids who get up to the maths degrees there. And that's not to say that like if you're not like a brain box, you can't get into Oxford. But like I'm like smart. There are kids who are like just naturally smarter, and then there are kids who are obsessed with this and like get hard over an equation, and that's just not me. I can have like moments where I get into that, but I don't know. I notice it with my friends as well. Like you can really get into a question, but it's difficult to like keep that alive. I think it's just these kids must have just like years and years of that. And maybe whatever their environment they're in, or maybe they just had a bigger spark. That's just meant that it's compounded and they're just insanely good at maths. It is the most awesome thing I think I saw. Like there was kids there that were just. There was a girl I met who was 2 years younger than me and starting her first year at university in Scotland somewhere. It was ridiculous. And this is on like a summer camp that I went to for like people who were good at maths, and I can like flunked my way in a little bit because it was a multiple choice test. That could be a separate video in itself, but this like after I was like very focused on math, and I was like, I don't think math is gonna. I wanted to go to Oxford basically, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get in with maths, and it's difficult to back yourself in those scenarios because everyone like around me, for example, I'm better at maths than quite a few people, or I was better than maths than quite a few people in my school, and I was also like more mathsy thinking than my parents, and so from their perspective, it's like, oh, James is a maths person, he can do this. But like after I'd been put in with those guys, I was like, oh no, like I appreciate my mum and dad telling me like, oh yeah, you could do really well. I was like, yeah, you ain't seen these guys, but yeah, maybe I'll understand like, but maybe the whole like even if they had seen those guys, which they probably did at some point, like because you'd be well aware of like that there were really smart people out there. Because I'm aware there are smart people out there now because of this experience. But if like my kid is saying, "Oh, I kind of don't know," I'd still back him. Like so, just being a parent, isn't it? But yeah, so I like kind of transitioned more into PP because I had a lot of extracurriculars that were good for supercurriculars that were good for that. I had work experience with an MP. I had. I'd led the school council. Oh, my voice has changed. I noticed this. I can speak like very high pitched, sort of like But I think, yeah, look, if I sink into this is a much nicer, richer timbre in my voice. So I think I'll keep it here because the British accent is something to cherish. And this is pretty cool. I feel masculine. I feel manly. The difficult thing is I don't know how my throat's hurting a little bit now as well, but I don't know how I'd introduce this to people like tomorrow. I just gonna pick up the phone and be like, hey, nigga, where the fuck's James? You're speaking to him. Or like, he grew up. Or something like that, you see? Some tough shit. But yeah, what Jesus Christ, my voice hurts. Yeah, so I wanted to go to Oxford, and that basically just got put it for maths. And so then I switched to PPE, and then I kind of went off that. I was not enjoying politics, and yeah, it just I was like, what was Aura was I think I got 100% on my last like test in politics before I was just like, nah, I just don't wanna. Then I switched to physics, then a little because I knew I could kind of is it freeloading or like. I could not do that much work and do well in physics. But politics was just memorize this. And I was just like, what's the fucking point in it? Physics at least teaches you like interest in stuff that I really like. I've always liked physics. I got into politics to get into Oxford basically. And yeah. But and then I kind of thought I still kind of flirted with the idea of going. And but it was more with now like, okay, geared toward physics, because this was the thing that I had the edge on. Like, I know I've read tons of physics books. I don't understand everything in them, but I really like have moments where I just, I'm going to latch onto it. And yeah, awesome. And then the areas of math that really interested me were sort of like the philosophical side of it. So your Bertrand Russells, stuff like Gödel is just fucking sick, because the way that ties in with stuff. I mean, I should make videos on this. My mom and dad have said like, I should do like our physics videos. But the problem is I don't really know what I'm talking about. Like, it's so sick. The way that you can go from an incompleteness theorem from a logician or a logistician. No, logistician is a logistics guy. A logician is a logic guy. And Gödel probably could have been a logistician, to be fair. But he was a logician. And yeah, how you can go from a theory logic that then has implications in like all logical systems to then potentially like creating a theory of consciousness. This intersection between philosophy, maths, physics, and just like is awesome. That I think is some good. Gödel Escher Bach is a book I need to read, but there have some pretty similar good ones I read that were a little bit shorter, and that's why I read them first. This is awesome. This is objectively awesome. How have we arrived here? Anyway, how did we get to here? Why I was talking about university, physics, philosophy. Oh, emotion. Yeah, and so I like a transition from like a purely logical thing to like being a little bit more flavor into life, and that's kind of what emotion is. Like, I like to think of like you can have memories, and then you can have memories painted with emotion. This is like a nice image I like to imagine, and that's certainly been good. My life is now painted and enriched with emotion. I don't just have an experience of the world. I have a human experience. Like I think that's a nice way to imagine it. It sounds incredibly autistic, but I mean, może jest. Anyway, why was I talking about emotion? The brain kaput in it. The one is not good right now. Emotions are funny, all things. Oh yeah, I had all of this emotion, like bad emotions and stuff, that just kind of like hasn't happened, even though I've worked objectively way more and should be more stressed now, if like that. But no, I've guessed it's been regulated quite well, and I've had a goal to focus towards, which is get a job. But that wasn't my goal. The goal is just apply as much as possible. That's what I've been doing. And a second goal of push-ups, 2,000 today. I have 8 hours to do 300 push-ups. That's good. I did notice, I was thinking like, but that's 8 hours till 9 next morning, and like, I want to sleep. But suddenly became a question of sleep. No, the push-ups can be done, therefore they will be done. I don't have anything on tomorrow. Tomorrow's a Saturday. I can get 6 hours of sleep, and I'm not going to be done by 9. I'm going to be done before then. And so, say for example, I may wake up midday, and then I'm just going to go to sleep at normal time. It's going to be bad for the cortisol. It's going to be bad for the face bloating. But yeah, again, can't really realise what I'm talking about. But this is cool. I look like, I want to figure out what's going on with this camera thing. And all of that. I don't know. This is actually pure yap. But I can see why it could be comforting. This really is more for me than anything else, like these sort of videos. The sort of videos with push-ups and stuff, I'm going to try and like gear more algorithmically toward people. Because obviously a maximally valuable thing is going to be incredibly efficient, or like it's going to be very value dense or knowledge dense, you see, or like entertainment dense. And these ramblings aren't that. but they do have a certain charm. Although, when played back to me by my friends or by my girlfriend, I don't think my parents have done it yet. My brothers have. At times, I just hate the sound of my own voice. Like, not in like a bad way, but as pointed out to me, I sound quite depressed. And a lot of these begin in the same sort of tone. And unfortunately, back to back, the way I... 3 videos that like were opened were like... it was like... imagine yourself 2 years ago or something like that. And it was like... I was thinking about life the other day. And then it was like... 2 friends talked to me about suicide. I do seem depressed, I guess, from the outside. Like, if you took those things, like, it looked very bad. I'm not, though. Like, I can feel sad, but, like, there's no point being depressed. I think it's just maybe a very introspective take that seems... It could seem vain. But my tone isn't very, like, egotistical. I just like thinking. I enjoy thinking. I mean, although I think it is telling that people who I would say, assuming these people that commented saying, "Oh, you kind of look a little bit depressed," not literally commented on the video, just they commented on the video but not on YouTube. They just said to me, assuming that they have like a normal, average experience of the world, which probabilistically is quite likely. Then it would be a sort of clue, or like there would be some truth to them saying like, oh, this is what a depressed person like does more often than not, because they'd be a good measure of the mean of, say, they were average introspectiveness. They'd be like, well, this person way, like, you see, and I guess it's kind of true. Like, and I did notice like today, like I haven't thought about how I am. I've thought about do push up. I thought about do work. Things very outside of me, very introvert, extrospective things to me. I like etymology, and I feel fine. I haven't thought really at all about my condition. One of the things I noticed, not of like condition, like health condition, by the way, just like my mental good. Like I just am, and I think that is probably the best way of living. Although it is interesting that like you can so quickly like unravel if you like look in. This is again so right. This is why consciousness could be defined as like a self-awareness, right? And it's very difficult how you get stuff to have this sort of self-aware quality. But a Gödel statement like this statement is... This statement is not true. Where it's either a... this statement cannot be proved is the Gödel statement. And yeah, this statement cannot be proved. And if it's true, you have a true statement that cannot be proved. Or if it's false, it can be proved, but then you have a false statement that has a proof, which makes it like a true, like, and if you define things like, oh, true things can be proved, you get a contradiction in the false one, so it has to be true, so you can have a true statement that has no proof, like the Riemann hypothesis. That would be cool. But the way the Riemann hypothesis implications on prime numbers, and then the fact that prime numbers turn up in quantum physics is awesome. I should make videos on these. But yeah, that's sort of like, it's interesting that you get this type of behavior when you have a self-referential statement, this statement referring to itself. For example, the statement like 2 + 2 is 4 is true, but refers to just like a fact. It's like it doesn't refer to it. So you see, that's the difference. And it's true because it has a proof. But if 2 + 2 = 3, that is a statement, but it is a false statement, and you cannot prove this using your axioms and logical systems of arithmetic. Piano sounds like penis. Anyway, yeah. Weird things happen when you look inward. Although, then why does everyone say to look inward so much? Jung's like, bro, I need to turn this a psychology, philosophy for this sort of mishmash of a channel. This is the direction I'm telling you guys. But for right now, we're doing fitness because we're push-upping. And one other thing. Applying for jobbing. Wonderful. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And God bless you.